I'm Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love CVille Show. Cheers to you. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. Iced coffee in my, is this a 40-ounce Yeti? I think it's a 40-ounce Yeti. It might be 32 ounces. I have a Yeti with me on my person every single day, and every morning filled to the brim with iced coffee. A lot to cover on the program. The deadline is looming. The deadline is upon us for the Donald Trump Compact. And ladies and gentlemen, the University of Virginia is under Donald Trump's microscope. He's basically got a list of criteria. And this list of criteria, ladies and gentlemen, are, some would call them demands, others would call them, I'd say the word demand is word edicts, orders, all in the same category. That if the University of Virginia does not follow, it will risk and lose federal funding. It's a 10-point plan. And this 10-point plan demands the elimination of diversity considerations from admissions and hiring, just the eradication of DEI. This 10-point plan demands that international students, the number of international students enrolled at universities be cut back. This 10-point plan demands that tuition be frozen, the cost of tuition. And this 10-point plan also demands that the data of graduate earnings, what they're paid post-graduating, be shared. And boy, oh boy, the interim president, who did his rounds on local media this morning, Paul Mahoney, is in for a hornet's nest of a discussion. Donald Trump has leverage over the University of Virginia, and that deadline with his leverage and federal funding is Monday. We're going to unpack this story from every angle on the I Love CVille Show today. We're going to talk on today's show about the zoning lawsuit. Judah, you'll set the table on the who, what, when, where, why with fantastic reporting from Sean Tubbs. This lawsuit may be settled, Judah.
Yeah.
The city of Charlottesville is basically saying we probably should have done a VDOT study. Now, a traffic study. Now, what the city of Charlottesville is going to do is say, we'd rather just spend the money on the traffic study than see this through court through next year because it's going to save taxpayer money. The reality is the city of Charlottesville would not have been in this position had it of dotted the I's and crossed the T's from the beginning and done this traffic study. We'll have the discussion on the show, fantastic reporting from Sean Tubbs on the new zoning ordinance lawsuit that may be settled out of court and may offer a sense of calmness or consistency or predictability to zoning and development in Charlottesville, Virginia. And speaking of the city, how many of you viewers and listeners live in the city of Charlottesville? I live in Albemarle County. Judah lives just over the city line in Albemarle County. If you're a homeowner in the city of Charlottesville, your median home values are down 6% year to date compared to the exact same period last year. And this is happening at a time where neighboring jurisdiction, Albemarle County, median values, same type of housing, single-family detached homes, are 10% roughly up in median value. Think about this when you're enjoying your cocktails, your charcuterie, and your conversation this weekend. Why are the city of Charlottesville median home values on single-family detached homes year-to-date, 2025 versus 2024, down 6%, when Albemarle counties are up nearly 10%? Is City Council even aware that this metric is heading in the wrong direction? I want to have that conversation on today's program. We have some clarity on today's show on what caused the Glenmore housing explosion. Remember a home in Glenmore, was it about 2 months ago, Judah?
Yeah, roughly.
Eviscerated literally looked like a war zone in Keswick. A propane explosion caused the sad death of one Glenmorian and the significant body burning of another Glenmorian who is recovering in the hospital as we speak. Mm-hmm. It also sadly caused 12 other homes around this explosion on Ferndown to be uninhabitable. And I'm told it damaged, this explosion, an additional nearly 40 homes in Glenmore from a foundation standpoint or from a structure standpoint, a cosmetic standpoint, engineering standpoint. We're going to offer the cause for that explosion that is now out, and it's just a cacophony, a cornucopia of bad luck. That story on the I Love CVille show. I want to ask or further have the conversation on today's program. I whet your appetite yesterday on the Belmont dining district. It has become a collection of delectable dining, eateries. Belmont, has it become the dining epicenter of the city of Charlottesville? And you know what's bananas with that? I've been in this community for 25 years. When I first got here, you didn't go to Belmont for fear of safety. My second year removed from the University of Virginia, this was circa 2005. Yeah, 2005, I moved to Belmont. I lived on Little Graves behind Spud Nuts. Arthur Feiner, our landlord. Tall Tom lived in this house. Mad Dog Henny Brown lived in this house. And my buddy Shannon lived in the attic, climbed a rope ladder to get to his non-HVAC'd mattress on a pine floor in the attic. Literally climbed a rope ladder. I think we were spending like $275 a month in rent at Arthur Feiner's house. I think it was 208 Little Graves. Used to stumble back and forth from the downtown mall. I remember distinctly one night choosing to go to Mas Tapas, which was the only dining destination in Belmont at the time. We went all the way down Little Graves in Belmont. It's a side street off of Graves. And at the end of Little Graves, if you know Belmont, there's this dirt road. It's just an access road. It's not even paved. It's riddled with potholes. 2 cars cannot get by on this dirt road. Heck, 1 car can barely get by on this dirt road. We are stumbling to Mas Tapas after pre-gaming at Little Graves and stumbling to Mas, and on this pothole-riddled dirt road, Shannon and I in, there were 2 or 3 guys huddled in a corner behind 2 houses on this pothole-riddled dirt road, clearly smoking crack, each with 40s in their hands, Colt 45s in their hands, huddled around behind a house. The house had no idea these guys, these unsavory fellows, were sitting on paint cans or just sitting on the dusty, crusty, unpaved access road. They see us as we're walking by them in downtown, in Belmont, trying to make our way to Mas Tapas from Little Graves. One of them gets up while the other one is legitimately roasting a crack pipe. The one gets up, pulls out a switchblade out of his pocket, does that switchblade movement to get the blade ready, and then the 3 guys approach us as we're just looking to get some Pabst Blue Ribbon and stare at pretty girls at Mas Tapas when we were 23, 24 years old, and approach us with the switchblade. At the time, Shannon decides to do this crazy Karate Kid crane movement with his hands and legs, making loud movements and gestures, a startling movement that even took me aback. And it gave the 3 crackheads some pause and actually had the switch-bladed yielding and wielding crackhead lower his hand for a moment because it was a move just rooted in utter chaos and lunacy. And as they paused and blew out the smoke from the roasting the crack pipe and putting the switchblade down, Shannon and I'm wearing rainbow flip-flops. He's got rubber flip-flops on. It's like 15 degrees outside. We sprint down the dusty access road in Belmont and rush to Mas Tapas to breathe a sigh of relief as we then proceed to kill 12 PBR blue ribbons amongst us, had some bacon-wrapped dates and said, are we really going to take that way home? And that night, we took the long way back to 208 Little Graves and not the dirt road access. True story. Absolute true story. My point is, at 20 years ago, you didn't go to downtown Belmont at night. 20 years ago, downtown Belmont was not yuppie and gentrified and epicenter of 700, 800, 900,000, 1 million plus homes. It was working class. I've told the story in previous shows. At the end of Little Graves, where we lived, my buddies and I, for a handful of years, there was a working class group of guys that lived in a house that had a shed in the back of a home at the Little Graves, and somehow they put a 7-foot pool table in the back of this shed. I played a lot of pool, had a pool table growing up in Williamsburg, Virginia, a 9-foot pool table with very tight pockets, a Peter Vitale pool table. Spent hours shooting pool on that, got very good, was winning pool tournaments in Williamsburg at the Corner Pocket. My dad would take me there, much to my mom's disappointment, on Tuesday and Wednesday nights to play 8-ball and 9-ball. And was routinely, as a 12, 13, 14-year-old, winning 50, 60 bucks in pool tournaments. My mom ended up taking me one time, and she's like, why, oh, why does this kid want to spend Tuesday and Wednesday nights at a pool hall? And at the time, you could smoke in the pool hall. It was always clouded with smoke. And she saw me and the unsavory folks at this pool hall. Never again was I allowed, after my mom took me, to play at the Corner Pocket at these tournaments while a freshman, sophomore in high school. I got so good at pool that was how I started paying my way through UVA. Pool, running a sports book, working at Ruby Tuesdays, hustling foosball at the Greenskeeper, anything possible to help cover the cost of 4 years at the University of Virginia. I started playing pool at this shed at the end of the Belmont Little Graves neighborhood with this working class, this blue-collar group of fellas. They were pounding Budweisers. They had a small fridge in the shed, shooting pool. Next thing you know, one of these guys pulls a white bag out of his pocket and starts chopping things up literally on the rail of the pool table in downtown in Little Graves, like 4 in the afternoon. Chopping up lines. I'm like, what have I got myself into here? Don't really know these fellas. My dog, Lucy, the German Shepherd Chow Chow mix, is running around the table. I proceeded to sink the 8-ball, finished the game, and said, you know what, I think I need to feed Lucy, the beautiful brown dog here, because she's getting hungry, and kindly excused myself. Downtown Belmont in general, 20 years ago was the place you didn't go. Now you see Mas Tapas, you see Bell, you see the Local, you see the soon-to-open Jervy, a steakhouse or a Great American Restaurant, whatever you want to call it. And it was Tomas and Corin with Mas Tapas that led the charge. Then Adam Frazier gets in the mix with building the Local. The Local, I watched Adam Frazier, who I think still lives on Graves, certainly lived on Graves when I lived on Little Graves. I watched Adam Frazier, the restaurateur, the owner of the Local, build this restaurant from scratch, from the ground up, with his own hands. I think La Tasa with Melissa Easter had a lot to do with the birth or the positive momentum of downtown Belmont. I used to work for La Tasa all the time when I was living in Belmont. And now you have an abundance of riches in Belmont. Tavola, I mean, just an abundance and riches down there. I want to have the discussion, is that now the go-to dining destination on today's show? A lot to cover on the broadcast, including the University of Virginia's ability to become bowl eligible tomorrow. Judah Wickhauer will give some love to Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, 61 consecutive years in business. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, ladies and gentlemen, on East High Street, online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. Free delivery within the market. Free delivery. No big box website will offer you free delivery within market. Same day free delivery. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply will do that. Anything you need. Sanitary supplies, Miele vacuums, anything from a swimming pool standpoint, including water testing, a mechanic on site. John Vermillion and the Vermillion family, 5 generations strong in Albemarle County in their business. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, 3 generations strong. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Let's keep these businesses in operation by supporting them, folks. Support them. Studio camera, Judah Wickower. I met Judah Wickower about the time that I met Curtis Shaver. I think Curtis Shaver, friend of the program, is watching the show right now. Curtis, I met somebody that knows you through the disc golf scene, a guy by the name of Noah. Talked with Noah yesterday. I've known him for some time, and he said he's going to do some disc golf this weekend. I said, do you know my friend Curtis Shaver? He goes, oh, I know Curtis. So you might see Noah around the sticks, around the links, tossing some discs. I met you at Lazy Parrot. This conversation came up with Jeff Gaffney on Monday. How'd you guys meet? I met Judah about 17 years ago. This was at the Lazy Parrot Grill, the 1.0 iteration, not even when Lazy Parrot Grill expanded. And before it expanded to its current location in the Food Lion Shopping Center on Pantops, it was this like very tiny shotgun-style restaurant at the back of the Pantops Shopping Center. And then Kevin Kirby decided to expand the restaurant into the storefront next to it and created a non-smoking dining section. Mm-hmm. But before he expanded into the storefront next to it for the non-smoking dining, the dining portion of the restaurant, he literally had this little almost like a shotgun house, like this very skinny, very narrow passageway that was just a fantastic location. Sports, wings, cheap booze, $2 Jaegers, something every night. I Love CVille trivia, live music. I mean, you name it. It was the spot. And it really did a great job of becoming this melting pot for Charlottesvillians, Albemarle Countyans, hell, Fluvanna Countyans and Louisa Countyans, because they didn't have a lot of bars, or driving to the Lazy Parrot on Pantops, up Pantops Mountain, down 250. I mean, these guys were 4 or 5 Jägermeisters and a bucket of Budweisers deep and then heading back. That was a wild time. A wild time. That's where I met this guy. He's chain smoking Camel Lights. Was it Camel Lights? Had a bucket of Coronas in front of him, had his iPad with a stylus in front of him, and is doing graphic design. I'm like, dude, you are talented. You were talented. Savannah College of Art and Design, Judah Wickower, sitting at one of those tabletops. Remember they had the colorful tabletops with parrots on them of all different kind of colors? He's pounding Coronas, hitting lung butter sticks, doing graphic design on an iPad. I said, can I see your gallery of photos? And he slides through the gallery of photos. This is 17 years ago, Judah, almost 18 years ago. And I said, talk to me about your work, your job. And I could tell you were unhappy with what you were doing at the time. That's fair. So why don't you come work for the shop? Why don't you come work for the shop? One of the first projects we worked on 16, 17 years ago, Walter Slosky's The Shebeen website. And Slosky comes to me, he's like...
catering website.
What's that?
And their catering website.
The catering outfit. Yeah. And Slosky's like, I want to launch the catering outfit. I want to get the Shebeen's digital and social media brand up in order. Can you help me with this, Jerry? I'm like, let's do it. Let's rock and roll. The second client we ever had was Annie McClure, who's opening a Belmont restaurant, the Jervy. Also, at the time he had, talk about a fantastic second client. The first client was Whimsy's. Jessie, the daughter of the owner of Whimsy's, Jessie Rogers, she approached us about building a Whimsy's website. But second client at the time, he had the Greenskeeper, 3 Jabberwocky, all the same restaurant, all rebranded. George and Teresa owned Greenskeeper first. He bought it from George and Teresa. He had the Biltmore, he had the Virginian, he had West Main, and he was opening Citizen Burger Bar. Right? Fantastic second client. Slosky was great too. He was so focused on running his restaurant, he didn't really want to mess with the digital and the social. So we rocked the digital and social for him, help him launch the catering outfit. It's a fantastic time to be a small business owner. Was 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, when your focus was digital media, advertising, and branding. Because at the time, all digital media, branding, and advertising was posting pictures of food online or how can you hook up with guys and gals. And I knew very early that this was an opportunity to tell a story for your business. And that's what we help folks do. And that's how Judah got a part of the Miller organization that is, goodness gracious, almost 18 years old. I mean, it's absolutely wild. All right, a lot to cover on the program. I got sidetracked over there going down memory lane. Maria Marshall-Barnes and Bill McChesney watching the program. I'm going to get to your guys' comments in a matter of moments. If you like the show, hammer the like button. Hammer the like button if you like the show. Judah Wickower, Trump's deadline is Monday.
Four universities have already said no thanks.
Should the University of Virginia say, give the one-finger salute to Donald Trump? Should the University of Virginia and interim President Paul Mahoney give the one-finger salute to the Trump Compact and say, these 10 suggestions aren't suggestions, they are you leveraging federal funding, extorting federal funding potentially against us to get us to become a university that you want us to be, that does not match the university that our faculty and our students want us to be or become?
I say that calling it giving the finger is a little bit harsh, but I don't think they should go along with it, and I don't think there's a whole lot of chance they will.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Is the Trump Compact good for the University of Virginia, as you're putting lower thirds on screen? Is the Trump Compact good for the University of Virginia? Judah Wickower, your take on that?
I don't have a problem with most of what the compact is asking of universities, and I'm sure that most of them are following some of these rules already. In fact, I think part of the problem that this current administration had with what was going on at UVA and probably other schools as well is that the DEI initiatives that they had set up were apparently basically against the law. The law states that you can't discriminate. So setting up something where you're, discriminating in the other direction is, just as egregious as, discriminating against someone for whatever reason. Overall, there's 10 points. And I don't really have a problem with most of them, but I think it's just overreach in trying to get universities to sign this. And 4 universities, including USC and Penn, have already said no thanks. And I believe the administration has opened the compact up to other schools outside of the original 9 that were presented the deal. And I find it hard to believe that any universities are going to raise their hands. Yeah, we'll join.
Okay, I'll try a different approach. I'm going to try a different approach. Parents that are watching the program, are you pleased or happy with the direction that 4-year universities are heading? Parents that are watching the program, how many of you think that colleges and universities have become entirely too expensive? Students that are watching the program, how many of you are prepared to get $250,000 in debt for a degree that may pay you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year to start at an interest rate that's 6, 7, 8, 9%? How many of you 18, 17, 19, 20, 21-year-olds want to be $250,000 or more in debt and have tuition payments that follow you well into adulthood? Parents that are watching the program, how many of you are frustrated that college applications and college admissions are not strictly merit-based? Not strictly based on A, B, C's, and D's and F's, extracurriculars, athletics, and essay writing, or instead may offer an edge or advantage to a young man or young woman that is born into a certain family or into a certain socioeconomic situation? Parents that are watching this program, are you comfortable with your kids, putting their futures on the line for a degree that may or may not yield earning potential, because that earning potential is kept under wraps by the universities your child is applying to? Of course, four-year universities and colleges want to keep the earning potential, the average salaries of their students with the degrees that they're pursuing on the hush-hush. Why would universities and colleges not want the public, Judah, to know what the salaries associated with certain degrees are?
Because it might affect people coming to the school.
It would impact the pursuit of so many degrees. You want to find out that a philosophy degree is going to pay you $35K coming out of college and you're $250,000 in debt?
Yeah.
You want to find out in art history, a music appreciation, a jazz appreciation degree, a pottery degree is going to give you an opportunity to make $25K, $30K, $35K, or force you into pursuing graduate study work to deepen your debt load? Why do you think these universities and colleges don't want to tell you how much these degrees pay once you complete the degree? Of course they want to keep it on the hush-hush. Are aspects of the Trump Compact advantageous for our society? Are aspects of the Trump Compact positive for parents and kids? Absolutely.
I'd say there's a lot of positives.
Absolutely they are. Imagine the courage you need to say in Charlottesville what I just said. Absolutely they are. Is what Trump is doing overreach, however? Is what Trump is doing almost akin or synonymous to negotiating a trade deal or a tariff deal with China? He's going about negotiating with universities and colleges in America as if he was negotiating a deal with communist China, utilizing leverage and fear, extortion, retribution.
He's using the stick, not the carrot.
Bingo. If he had gone about this a different way, where it's like, you're going to agree to these 10 points that I put on the table, and your deadline is this coming Monday, or I'm not going to give you any damn money. And it's going to happen at a time when colleges and universities have a boatload of headwinds. So you're going to do what I say, or you're going to go out of business. And I'm not saying all of them are going to go out of business, but this is going to impact universities and colleges. We should get an exact figure of what the University of Virginia gets in federal funding. I will tell you, the folks that I speak with, and I speak with chairmen of departments, engineering, physics, math, business, comm school, econ, talk to them all. A lot of them watch the program. A lot of them DM us, email us, that say this federal funding, and they're afraid to say it. They're afraid to say it for fear of retribution, for fear of being stigmatized. But a lot of this federal funding is paramount for keeping graduate students and TAs and research heading in the right direction. I've told the story multiple times on this program of needing to change the locks on a biotechnology lab. And as part of being behind on rent and changing the locks of a biotechnology lab, the result was hundreds of thousands of dollars of biotechnology equipment was now in our possession. And the court indicated, God, this tenant is so far behind on rent, you guys get to keep their stuff. And I'm charged with the task with my client. I'm charged with the task. You were in that meeting. Remember when we negotiated the deal of this meeting? We don't need to say which client. Right off the downtown mall, where the inventory list was provided for the biotechnology equipment, itemized by serial number. And I'm like, all right, what are we going to do here? Negotiated my rate to move this equipment. Did a 50-50 split. We got to work. And in about 4 or 5 weeks, it's about 6 figures in compensation by moving biotechnology equipment on the I Love CVille Network and calling my contacts, my Rolodex, my phone. Instagram stories, Facebook posts, emails, in-person conversation, hustling, making something out of nothing. That compensate, nice little payday for the firm. Kept my client happy, continue to work real estate with him to this day. My client's able to recoup a lot of that back rent owed. Then you know what happened? Then Trump started getting into higher education. And all the spend with the University of Virginia with buying this biotechnology equipment from us immediately stopped. And finally, someone in a very high position at the University of Virginia, I'm talking the highest position, the people I'm talking to are right below the highest position. They said, we're stopping. I said, why the stop? It's like, dude, you see what's coming? These people aren't even sure that they're going to keep their grad assistants and their scientists and their TAs employed. They're not going to try to buy more, even if it's 50 or 60 cents on the dollar, equipment from you. They're not sure that these kids will have jobs. That was about 10 months ago, and it's only worsened. What he's doing is overreach, but what he's doing is not necessarily terrible. Higher education cannot continue to cost $250,000 and be only for the wealthy. Mm-hmm. Higher education must stop prioritizing marginalized students that don't have the same academic merit that resource students have. If a resource student beats a marginalized student in GPA, extracurriculars, or athletics, that resource student should be admitted into the university ahead of the marginalized student because he or she is a better, more competent, fit student.
What does resource student mean?
What do you think resource student means?
Someone with means?
Yeah. Someone with means, a student with means, should not be punished because his parents have done well professionally. If a student has gone from 0 to 18 years old and he or she worked their ass off and have a good GPA, good SAT, great essays written, great extracurriculars, great academics, great athletics, they should be prioritized ahead of a marginalized student who does not have the same GPA or has a lower SAT or does not have the same extracurriculars.
I think a better way to put it is that universities are not responsible for fixing the problems that arise from elementary, junior high, and high school.
Here's an even better way of putting it. You want an even better way of putting it? This is a better way of putting it. They should put the students, ladies and gentlemen. Can you go to Market Street Cam?
Yeah. They're not going to see much except the tall guy walking away.
We just had Ralph Sampson walk to the door right there.
Yeah.
Was that not Ralph Sampson?
That was Ralph Sampson.
That was Ralph Sampson at the I Love CVille studio right there. We love Ralph here at the I Love CVille show. They should admit students on merit.
Yeah.
Right? They should figure out a way to make colleges and universities affordable again. They should depoliticize higher education. Don't take impressionable, malleable minds, 18 to 22-year-olds, and try to mold and manipulate their thinking based on your politics. It should be about academics.
Yeah.
These seem
same as school.
Extremely obvious. Here's an couple interesting statistics for you, then we'll go on to the next topic. Paul Mahoney, the interim president, cited a Pew Research Center poll, which was released this past Wednesday, that found 70% of respondents felt United States of America higher education was generally going in the wrong direction. 70%. The poll also showed that 45% say colleges and universities are doing a fair or poor job of exposing students to a wide range of opinions and viewpoints, while 79% said they're doing a fair or poor job of keeping tuition costs affordable.
Yeah, no doubt.
America, parents and students are telling higher education that you must change what you're doing. Trump sees and knows this data and is trying to utilize it for his administrative gain, but his execution is poor.
Yeah.
It's just poorly executed, his tactics, because he knows one way of doing things: bull in a china shop.
Yeah.
That's the issue we have here. Next topic at the 1:15 marker of the I Love CVille show. Judah Wickower, what do you got?
Next up is the CVille zoning lawsuit.
Who, what, when, where, why, Judah Wickower?
As some of you may remember,
I wish Ralph had come in. We were doing a live show. We would have had Ralph come in and sat with us. Ralph Sampson. All right, CVille zoning lawsuit. Set the table for us, Judah.
some of you may remember we've got a lawsuit going on. Well, first of all, the city released a new zoning ordinance with the purpose of increasing density in the city. So far, not a whole lot has come of it,
Nothing is coming.
except for
A lawsuit.
a lawsuit. And I'm at this point, I'm honestly not sure what they were hoping to get out of the lawsuit, because all they're asking for in order to end the lawsuit is for the city to go ahead and do what they...
A traffic study. They're asking for a traffic study.
And they're saying that...
They're saying a traffic study should have been done before this new zoning ordinance was approved by council.
Yeah.
City council is saying, what do you mean? We did a traffic study. We own the roads. It's Charlottesville. The people that are suing the
don't have
city
to
are
do
like, dude, these roads go in and out of Albemarle County. You should have done a traffic study and how it impacts not just the city, but in and out of Albemarle County, and those are VDOT roads of the county. Okay? Here's what I think is happening. The city is now saying, Sean Tubbs, great reporting on this. It's going to cost us a boatload of money to do this traffic study, a boatload of taxpayer money, but we're just going to go ahead and do this traffic study because it's going to cost less than us pursuing this lawsuit into September of next year.
Yeah.
I also think the plaintiffs realize, Jesus, this is going to cost us so much money to keep this lawsuit going into September of next year. And now we know the city of Charlottesville's got this law firm, Gentry Locke, that's basically doing work at a discounted rate, and it's the senior partners that are doing the work. Gentry Locke is doing work at a discounted rate for the city, and its senior partners doing it because they missed a filing deadline. So Gentry Locke realizes that the I Love CVille show is on their nuts. And if they don't fix this and they don't improve this or execute this correctly, they're going to be under the radar and microscope, and their firm's brand and image will be tarnished. So the senior partners jump in the mix and do it at a discounted rate. They also had a little criteria in there that filing deadline, if it wasn't waived and the lawsuit couldn't continue moving forward, that they would have had to pay the city $150,000. So the plaintiffs realized the city got some leverage over Gentry Locke. And now everyone's doing what everyone does, or a lot of people do in these lawsuits. They're starting to hedge financial carrying costs and risk. This was a mess from the beginning. This was ramrodded from the beginning. This was fast-tracked from the beginning. It was executed poorly from the beginning. The counselors didn't do a good job of listening to people beyond livable CVille and some activists.
And you're talking about the zoning ordinance
Yeah.
right now, not the trial.
They got
just
bulldozed.
to clarify for anyone
You're right.
listening or watching.
Exactly right. They got bulldozed by activists and by livable CVille to push this new zoning ordinance through. Mm-hmm. And they didn't listen to others, including the plaintiffs who were speaking prior to the approval of the new zoning ordinance, which, goodness gracious, what was that? December, January of 2023? Nothing happened in 2024. Nothing's happened 10 and a half months into 2025. How much stalled development has taken place? Mm-hmm. And it's a perfect segue into the next topic on the show. How about the median values of homes? Put that lower third on screen. You live in the city of Charlottesville? How many of you live in the city of Charlottesville? City of Charlottesville. Did you know year-to-date, single-family detached home values year-to-date are down 6% versus the same period last year. Judah, you are a smart man. You live right over the city line. How far are you off from the city line?
5 or 6 feet. No, I don't know.
It's pretty damn close.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that my my little subdivision is like.
It's split in half, I think.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's fully in Albemarle County.
That would be odd, considering there's only one road in. But
There's multiple subdivisions that I know of that are split in the city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County. Willoughby on 5th Street is part city and part Albemarle County.
Huh.
Okay. I'm not going to dox where you're living right here, because you're going to have half a dozen sorority girls sprinting to your house to sit outside your window and cheer your name at all hours of the night. And God knows you don't want that.
That'll happen.
You're about 5 feet. That's hyperbole. You're about 50 feet, maybe 100 feet from the city line.
Something.
That's not hyperbole. If you were on the other side of the line, your home value, the house that you own, would be down 6% year to date. You're in Albemarle County, at least on paper, you're nearly 10% up year to date. Does Charlottesville City Hall realize that City of Charlottesville homeowners, their values are down 6% year to date, while neighboring jurisdiction, Albemarle County, single-family detached homes year to date are up almost 10%? That is a 16-point delta, Judah.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Next topic at the 119 marker in a busy afternoon for yours truly. How about the Glenmore one?
Yeah.
This is just a cornucopia of catastrophic turn events.
No doubt. It's just a freak happening.
It's bad luck. Lightning strikes a house, or just next to the house. The lightning that strikes just next to the house that causes the death of one person and critically injures another hits a gas line. The gas line that's hit ruptures the gas line, fills the house because propane is heavy gas.
I'm amazed that they think that it actually lit at some point.
Propane is heavy, filled the basement.
Yeah.
And when the out-of-town homeowners that were in Europe at the time call a neighbor to come check on the house because they get a notification of a problem,
Yeah.
a neighbor goes into the house, flicks the basement switch, and you have a war zone and gated community Glenmore.
Yeah.
One dead, one severely burned, still recovering in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It's just horrible luck.
Yeah, horrible luck, especially because here the Albemarle County Fire Rescue Chief Eggleston says that normally when a line ruptures like that, the gas would burn off, but somehow this one burned out before the gas burned off, and that was, as you said, when the propane filled the basement.
Was it 12 homes uninhabitable? 12 neighboring homes?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing up to 40 damaged in some capacity by this explosion?
No doubt.
Oof. Still a navigation of red tape tied to insurance claims as we speak, probably into next year. Oof. Bad luck. Next topic, Judah Wickhauer, what do you have?
Oh, let's see. Belmont.
And before we get to Belmont, how about we give some love to Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes? Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes, their office on the Charlottesville Downtown Mall, the best solution and choice for hardscaping anything at your house. Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes, ladies and gentlemen, are who you call if you want to improve your quality of life at your house from a hardscape standpoint. Tim Huss and the team at Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes are knowledgeable. They're experienced. They're talented designers, and they can execute. Oak Valley Custom Hardscapes is who you call for anything hardscape related. Do we put the the King's Crown on Belmont, Judah, for the top dining destination?
It's got to be pretty close.
Do we put the
I don't
King's
know the
Crown on
numbers.
downtown Belmont? I mean, what, the close second or maybe first, beating Belmont by inches? What, West Main?
Potentially. West Main's got some good stuff right now.
Peter Castiglione,
Maya, Smyrna, Black Cow.
Black Cow Chop House, Daniel Kaufman, Public Fish and Oyster,
Yep.
Daniel Kaufman, Continental Divide, Tavern and Grocery,
Mexicali.
Look, from a volume standpoint, there's more restaurants on West Main, and there's soon to open Maggie's at Midtown and the old Blue Moon Diner location. You have Orzo, Kitchen and Wine Bar,
Morisco's El Barco.
Morisco's El Barco. Ay, mi madre, chico. Muy delicioso. Chomping at the bit, downtown Belmont. You can't find a parking space in Belmont on Thursday or Friday or Saturday night. Parking is such an issue that diners are blocking the driveways of Belmontonians. And now the Jervy is set to open next to Mas Tapas. Downtown Belmont has sex appeal, has novelty, je ne sais quoi. That's where Judas smirks. I say that just for you. Look at that. Like a Cheshire cat grabbing a sleeve of Ritz crackers with a tin of Cheese Whiz on his hand. Judas smirked, the Cheshire cat right there.
Okay.
If you were a Cheshire cat and you could get a sleeve of Ritz crackers and a tin can of Cheese Whiz, wouldn't you be smiling?
I guess.
What do you mean you guess? Cheese Whiz and Ritz crackers? Who doesn't like that? It's like a sleeve of Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies. Someone is listening to some serious music outside the studio right now.
I wouldn't call that listening.
Downtown Belmont, ladies and gentlemen, may have claimed the King's Crown of top dining destination in the city. It's got Moss, it's got the local, it's got Tabula, it's got Bell, it's got Jervy, it's got Southern Crescent.
It's got whatever's currently in that barbecue spot.
The old Belmont barbecue location.
Yep.
You should know what's in there.
Why should I know that?
He's come on the I Love CVille Network before.
Who's he?
The owner on Patty Bowden's show to make cocktails. I'm also drawing a blank on that as well. So it's nice to see.
I went there once or twice when my sisters were in town months and months ago.
You don't remember the restaurant you went to months ago?
It was it's like it's right on the tip of my tongue. It's got to do with like tacos and stuff.
It's good for the viewers.
But
and
it was very highbrow dining.
Highbrow dining?
Yeah.
Downtown Belmont. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be looking at your new top dog in the market. Last headline, what do you got, Judah Wickauer? And maybe you can find the name of that restaurant. And Bill McChesney's exactly right. Downtown Belmont doesn't have vagrants and beggars.
It's Conmole.
Camole. That's right, amigo. Camole. Muy bien, chico. Camole. Next headline, Judah Wickauer, what do you got? It's the last headline, right?
Yep.
Got a 1:45 call here.
UVA. Blowing everyone's mind.
Tomorrow, 6:30 p.m., Scott Stadium, homecomings. Isn't it odd at the University of Virginia? It's not the campus, it's the grounds. It's not freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. It's first year, second year, third year, and fourth years. And it's not homecoming, it's homecomings. Just some of the pomp and circumstance from Thomas Jefferson's University. The academic village, the rotunda, the lawn, the fourth year, fifth.
Speaking of the rotunda, I believe there's something going on there today that has to do with the compact.
Good work there, Judah Lecare.
Thanks.
There's something going on there at the Rotunda. Thank you very much right there. We do know what's going on with Virginia football. They are 5-1 and fighting to get bowl eligible 7 games into the season. If they beat Washington State and they're 17.5-point favorites, they are 6-1 on the season, Judah. 6-1. The team is completely healthy coming out of the bye week, completely healthy. Virginia is doing this game by game. Yes, that's coach speak, but they could run the rest of the schedule, which is bananas. And if they do run the rest of the schedule, they're playing in an ACC championship. On paper, it looks like Miami will be their opponent, and anything can happen in one game. And the winner of that goes to a college football playoff. Holy moly. Camoli. Tony Elliott. The only downfall of tomorrow night's game, it's on the CW network. And who has that network? I hate the CW. Who wants to watch Gilmore Girl reruns and Dawson's Creek reruns? I don't have the CW. That's the only downfall of the 6:30 kickoff tomorrow for homecomings, where there will be a lot of first year, second year, third year, and fourth years as they walk through grounds past the rotunda and the lawn of the academic village and enjoy a fourth year fifth to get there. The Friday edition of the I Love CVille Show. For talented Judah Wickower, my name is Jerry Miller. So long, everybody.